And third, the leadership cost. The founder loses credibility. People start to wonder, why? Does this person actually lead or just manage around problems? Why does this leader behave in that way? Everyone can see the problem, but he's not acting on it.
Aaron, today we're going into a topic that almost every founder has faced, and most would rather not talk about publicly: keeping the wrong people in the company. I've seen this in my own work with founders. There's always that one person everyone in the team knows isn't performing, they're not doing their job. And yet the founder does nothing. Weeks go by, months, sometimes years. Why does this happen so consistently?
First of all, I'm guilty on that as well. I remember one or two cases where I hold on people for much too long. And the reason mostly for this kind of situation is the short-term cost of acting feels much higher than the long-term cost of waiting. If you let someone go, you face immediate discomfort. The conversation, the uncertainty about who covers the work, the legal implications, especially here in Germany, I tell you, all that is concrete and visible. The damage of waiting is invisible at first. You don't see it on a dashboard. You feel it slowly in missed deadlines, in team dynamics, in your own energy as a leader.
And that's exactly it, the asymmetry. The pain of acting is immediate and certain. The pain of not acting is delayed and diffused. You just don't feel it. I spoke to a founder recently who had kept a senior salesperson for almost 2 years, past the point where everyone knew it wasn't working. His reasoning, at least I know what I'm getting, which is a very human reaction, but it's also a trap. What does that delay actually cost in practice?
I think there are three types of costs and they compound each other. First, the performance cost. Of course, work gets delayed, done at a lower standard or quietly redistributed to others who already have enough on their plate. Second, the cultural cost. And these are, I think, the most critical ones in the long term. The team observes everything. When low performance goes unaddressed, it doesn't just affect one person. It recalibrates what the team considers normal. And that's critical in my opinion. And third, the leadership cost. The founder loses credibility. People start to wonder, why? Does this person actually lead or just manage around problems? Why does this leader behave in that way? Everyone can see the problem, but he's not acting on it.
Yeah, the cultural cost is the one I found most underestimated.
Hmm.
I think about Reed Hastings at Netflix. One of the core ideas in his No Rules Rules book is that the most important thing a leader does is maintain a high talent density. His argument is that one underperformer doesn't just affect their own output, they lower the standard for everyone around them. Is that consistent with what you see in small and mid-sized businesses?
Absolutely. It's completely consistent. And in small and medium-sized companies, often hits harder because teams are smaller and they are more visible to each other. Here is what actually happens. High performers are not lazy, but they are rational. If they see that someone consistently under-delivers and the response from leadership is not there, is silence, they draw a logical conclusion that the standard is optional, not because they want to underperform, but because the system has communicated that it's acceptable. I worked with one managing director whose team had quietly adjusted their pace to match the slowest person in the group. Nobody had consciously decided to do this. It had happened over time, organically. It was over 18 months.
Wow. That's a chilling example. And it's so gradual that it's almost impossible probably to notice from the inside.
Right.
But I think there's also something psychologically interesting going on. For the founder, personally, it's not just about the team. There's often a real internal conflict, doubt, guilt, loyalty. What makes this decision so hard emotionally?
I think uncertainty is the main driver. Founders ask themselves, what if I'm wrong about this person? What if I cannot replace them quickly? What if things get worse after they leave? Those are legitimate questions, in my opinion. But in most cases, founders already know the answer. The hesitation is not about lacking information. It's about avoiding discomfort. There's a useful distinction between a problem and a decision. A problem requires more analysis. A decision that has already been made internally just requires action. I love to use the German word here, consequent. I mentioned that in the last episode.
Be definitive.
Yeah.
In the context here, yes. That's what I love about that German word consequent, because it has specific meanings at different use cases.
And it sounds hard, but it's what in these cases especially is needed.
Wow. Everything you just said resonates. And I've heard this described as the Sunday evening feeling. You dread the week because you know difficult conversations are coming, but you keep pushing it. And the irony is that postponing it does not remove the discomfort. It just redistributes it over a longer period for you, for the person in question, and for everyone around them. So me growing up in the 80s and 90s, Jack Welch at GE used to argue, I was in business school when he was still the CEO of GE, used to argue that keeping someone in a role where they cannot succeed is not kindness. It's the opposite, because it denies them the chance to find something that they can actually thrive in.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And it's an important reframe. Many founders genuinely believe they are being compassionate by waiting. They are giving the person another chance. But what they are actually doing is prolonging a situation that does not serve anyone. Not the team, not the company, and in the end, not the person either. The kindest action is often also the clearest one. Be consequent.
Be definitive. Make the decision.
Maybe I can learn that in the long term. Grab a copy of my free blueprint for one-on-ones at fipodcast.vip/hshp. Again, that is fipodcast.vip/hshp.
So when is the right moment to act? Is there a signal that is hard to misread?
Yes. When the same issue repeats despite clear specific feedback. At that point, it's no longer a misunderstanding, a learning curve, or a bad month. It's a pattern. And patterns do not resolve themselves. The mistake many founders make is that they confuse vague feedback with real feedback. Saying, I need you to step up is not feedback. Saying, in the last 3 client reviews, you missed the follow-up within 48 hours as agreed. This needs to change by end of next month. That's a feedback. That's a clear feedback. People then know what to do. If you have given specific documented feedback and the behavior has not changed, well, you have your answer.
But what about that leader that's not given that specific feedback yet?
Then you are not yet at the decision point. And the first step is clarity, not separation. This is where many founders skip a step, an important step. They jump from vague frustration to, I need to let this person go, without having actually managed the situation. That is not fair to the employee, and it creates legal and ethical problems. The sequence matters. Clear expectations, clear feedback, clear consequences, and consistent follow-through. There's a lot of clearness in that, I believe.
Yeah. Clarity helps. So that's a good framework. And it also protects the founder, because if it does eventually come to a separation, the documentation is there and the process was fair. I think the real takeaway here is that this is not a personnel issue. It's a leadership issue. The question is not, why is this person underperforming? It is, why am I not acting on what I already know?
Yeah, exactly. Leadership means setting standards and enforcing them. The moment you tolerate a standard being missed without consequence, you have effectively lowered the standard. Not intentionally, but that's the signal your team receives.
So
let me say one sentence more. After 2 years latest, you have exactly the employees you deserve. So
we're going to have to trademark that, I think. Put that on, because you've said that many times and it's so true. So let me bring this together. Keeping the wrong people is not a neutral position. Every week you wait has a cost in output, in team culture, and in your own credibility as a leader. The fear of acting too early is almost always less justified than the fear of acting too late. Most founders who have been through this will tell you the same thing. They wish they had acted 6 months earlier. If you are sitting with this exact situation right now, ask yourself one question. If you were hiring today, would you hire this person for this role? If the answer is no, you already have your decision. The only thing left is the courage to act on it. Consequence.
Very good. Thank you, Brian. Subscribe for free today at fipodcast.vip/xbzv and join thousands of leaders receiving exclusive and actionable leadership insights you won't find anywhere else. Again, that is fipodcast.vip/xbzv.